man. How's everybody doing today? And hey, I know it's your lunch hour. I know that you're still in the middle of your work day. I know that it's not just quite the weekend yet. But hey, that doesn't mean it ain't time for a liquor store run, man. But hey, shout out to everybody out there in the space. And we're going to talk about why picking a wide receiver in the 2024 draft is a must. It's a must. It's a prerequisite. It has to happen for the Dallas Cowboys to be successful in 2024. And I'm going to lay out all of the reasons why that is the case, man. So before we get too far into it, man, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we all know the proper procedures for tapping in with your independent content creators, man. First and foremost, when your independent content creators drop content and they go live, first thing we need you to do is to hit that like button. The more likes that we get on these videos, the more that these platforms will push the content and promote it. That's just how the algorithm works. So the more likes that we get, the more successful that the video will be, the more that the platform will flourish. So if you got love for Hennythemoor, you want the liquor store to do well, you want us to strive, you want us to grow, you want us to prosper, make sure y'all hit that like button on the way into the dough. Shout out to Jackie Smith in the building, by the way. Shout out to Bruce, got the toxic juice running in. I see the 6th running man helping us practice manifestation in the liquor store. So salute to you, my guy. Thank you for the love and support. Second thing y'all can do, after y'all hit that like button, I need y'all to turn right back around and hit that share button. Because first and foremost, man, sharing is caring. I know somebody, auntie, mama, cousin, granny, somebody done told you that sharing is caring. But we also believe in manifestation inside the liquor store. We are trying to manifest that 6th championship for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, we didn't do too well in 2024 by no stretch of the imagination. We didn't do too good because, we got bounced. But we're going to get an early head start in 2024. So if you want the Dallas Cowboys to win number 6 in 2024, I need you to share the content 6 times. I need you to drop 6 emojis like Jackie Smith just did. I see the 6 championship trophies helping us practice manifestation in the liquor store. Right? So share the content 6 times and drop 6 emojis. And hey, man, it ain't even got to be no family member or friend that you share the content to. It could be a friend of me. It could be an op. It could be somebody you ain't talked to since middle school. It could be a Baltimore Ravens fan or a Commanders fan. It do not matter. They share the content 6 times and drop 6 emojis to help us manifest that 6th championship for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, after you done did that, you done hit the like button. You done hit the share button. The next thing that I need y'all to do is to slap the shit out of a Commanders fan, man. I need y'all to slap the dog shit out of a Commanders fan. And if you're able to find one, you're able to lay hands on them, I will be able to give you half off on all the merchandise inside the liquor store. And we got exactly what you need to succeed over here, man. We got cow burritos, we got gin, we got hen, and everything else under the sun that can make you sin. So tap in with your boy, Hennythemoor, and come get drunk in the liquor store, man. Salute to all y'all good people out there. And also, y'all do know, if you want to support, you can also hit the Cash App. It's $Hennythemoor, or you can hit the Super Chats or the Super Stickers since we are monetized on the page. Rico Jones, what's up with you, man? Thank you for tapping in and showing love. Appreciate you for rocking with us, and I see you helping us practice manifestation inside the liquor store, man. So, hey, without further ado, let's go ahead and just dive head first into the content, man. Y'all done hit the like, y'all done hit the share, y'all done did everything y'all supposed to do. Now it's time to get y'all some premium Dallas Cowboys content. Right? All right, so let's go ahead and dive head first into it. All right, so let's start off with this. I think this is the right one. All right, so these are some of the projected 40 times for the wide receivers in this year's draft. Now remember, I've been very straightforward with y'all. I do not believe that 40 times are the end-all, be-all to a player. There is only one route where a wide receiver is going to run 40 yards down the field, and that is a 9 route, which is a goal ball. And that is not a route that is super common in the NFL, to be honest with you. You run a goal route only a couple times a game. But I did think it was an interesting talking point. So they are projecting wide receiver Xavier Worthy out of Texas to run a 4.29. They're expecting safety Tyler Owens out of Texas Tech to run a 4.29 as well. Anthony Gold, a wide receiver out of Oregon State, they're expecting him to run a 4.3 flat. Roman Wilson, who was a wide receiver out of Michigan, who was not really high on my draft board, to just be honest with you. They're expecting him to run a 4.31. Isaac Garendo, running back, Louisville, they're expecting him to run a 4.34. Tez Walker, who actually is on my list, is expected to run a 4.38. And Xavier Legette, a fan favorite, out of South Carolina, he's expected to run a 4.39. So these are some of the projected 40 times for this wide receiving class this year. And I just wanted to put that up just as a start, as an initial talking point. 40 times aren't on everything, but there are some very good athletes in this year's draft, right? Getting open, getting separation, all those things aren't really measured by 40 times, but 40 times can speak to your athleticism. It can speak to that you are a physical specimen. Now, I'm very high on Xavier Worthy. I'm very high on Tez Walker. I'm very high on Xavier Legette. So the reason I bring this up as a starting point, it's very imperative for the Dallas Cowboys in 2024 to take one of these wide receivers. It's very important for them to take one of these wide receivers. And I'm just going to go through a list of reasons why. Because if you're not reactive, right? If you're reactive and not proactive, if you don't take the initiative to go out and get a wide receiver and you wait, like you say, hey, I can worry about wide receiver next year. I can worry about wide receiver next year. This is the wide receiving class in 2025. And just go down the list of these wide receivers. You got Luther Burden from Missouri. You got McMillan from Arizona. You got Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. You got Bun from Alabama. Stewart from Texas A&M. My boy, Torrey Horton. I actually thought that Torrey Horton was going to be coming out this year, and it took me for a loop that he actually had another year of eligibility left, but I like him. Wales Jr., Brown. So, like, none of these, I'm just going to get straight to the point. None of these wide receivers would be first-round picks in this year's draft if you're trying to compare the talent. Shout out to my boy Joe Chanchina tapping in and showing love to the liquor store, man. Salute to you. Thank you for rocking with your boy. And hey, make sure everybody just now coming into the liquor store, y'all hit that like button, y'all hit that share button. But yeah, man, right now, none of these guys would be first-round picks this year. Torrey Horton, I love Torrey Horton. I think Torrey Horton is a very dynamic wide receiver. He's been super productive. He would be a third-round pick this year if Torrey Horton came out. He would be a middle-of-the-pack, late third-round pick if Torrey Horton came out this year. And he would probably be a first-round pick or a second-round pick in this upcoming draft. So the level of athlete is not the same from 2024 to 2025. Shout out to my boy Mark in the building. My boys with the $5 super chat. He said, aloha. We have so many holes. Wide receiver, defensive end, defensive tackle, offensive line, linebacker. I think it's best we draft best available and not reach, as we will end up with a Shante Carver / Mozzie guy. And brother, I do agree with you. That's why I'm so adamant about wide receiver, because there are multiple. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna show y'all my list. I'm not the best draft expert in the world. I've been wrong before. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting here saying that my methods are perfect. I'd be lying to you if I said that. I was wrong about Tyler Smith. It worked out. Hey, shout out to Miss Regina Green in the building. Thank you for coming in and showing love to the liquor store. Appreciate you for rocking with me the way you've been rocking with me. Salute to you. So yeah, I haven't been 100% right in my draft analysis or my draft expertise or none of that other good stuff. I've gotten it wrong before. But if you're asking my opinion on who are the best wide receivers in this draft, I'm just going to go ahead and show y'all my top 10. Hold on. Let me make sure I get it pulled up. All right, let me just show y'all my top 10. So booyah. This is the Dallas Cap. This is my HTM Sports top wide receivers in the 2024 draft. It may not be everybody's opinion. There are some guys that I excluded that some people are higher on than I am. There are some guys on my list I'm higher on than other people are. But, this is HTM Sports top 10 wide receiver list for the 2024 draft. Right? So at the top of the list, we have Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver from Ohio State. I expect, regardless of what happens, him not running at the combine, yada, yada, so on and so forth, regardless of all that, I expect for him to go in the top 3. I expect Marvin Harrison Jr. to be the first wide receiver off the board. So, I haven't really done much on him outside of that. He's that good. I see no possible way for the Dallas Cowboys to get him. T Smooth TV, what's up with you? Thank you for tapping in. And shout out to Miss Regina Green for dropping the 5 championship emojis, helping us practice 6 championship emoji, I should say, helping us practice manifestation in the liquor store. Salute to you. Thank you for tapping in with me. Malik Neighbors is next on the list. And really, he's like, if Marvin Harrison Jr. is 1A, Malik Neighbors is 1B. And there is no telling, depending on where each one goes, there's no telling on who actually has the best NFL career. Because who's throwing you the football matters. Who's around you on offense matters. Your offensive play caller and head coach matters. So I'm not even penciling in which one of these guys will have the best NFL career. But talent-wise, pound for pound size, I will give Marvin Harrison Jr. a slight advantage over Malik Neighbors. But, they are my 1A and 1B. Rome Odunze from Washington is my next pick. He is the next guy that I got up here. He said, anyone else low-key-ish wish they moved up for Marvin? You will have to move into the top 5 to get Marvin Harrison. You will have to move into the top 5. So there's realistic scenarios where Marvin Harrison goes number 3. Marvin Harrison, depending on what the top 3 teams do at their quarterback positions, there's a possibility that he goes in the top 3, top 4. So with the kind of assets that you would have to give up to move to the top 4, you might as well give up something for a quarterback. Like, you'll be moving up like you're trying to draft a quarterback to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Like he's gonna go so soon that the kind of draft capital that it would take to move up in the top 5 from number 24, it just doesn't make realistic sense for the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, top 3, top 4, top 5. Like, depending on how they view their quarterback position, you never know. What if the Chicago Bears aren't really sold on Caleb Williams, and they decide to keep their current quarterback Justin Fields, and they just want to give him best wide receiver in the draft? He might go first, right? I know everybody is penciling in Caleb Williams going to Chicago. What if they change their mind? What if they change their mind and say, hey, man, I might just go ahead and just keep Justin Fields, and I might see Marvin Harrison as the piece offensively to get us over the hump. And imagine if they had DJ Moore and they got Marvin Harrison Jr. Out there as the wide receivers. That would greatly help Justin Fields. So, hey, you never really know. I'm not saying that's what they do, but they could stick with a quarterback. Rome Odunze, but he number 3 to me. He's superb. There's even an argument you make for Rome being the second best wide receiver in this year's draft. Right? You can make that argument. If you say, hey, I like Rome slightly over Malik Neighbors, I ain't gonna fight you about that, bro. They're very dynamic. They're both very dynamic. They've both had consistent production in college. So I have nothing bad to say about that. Now, this is one where a lot of people might not agree with me. I do have Brian Thomas Jr. slightly over Keon Coleman. Now, I'm not saying that he's worlds above Keon Coleman, but Brian Thomas has had slightly better production. right? He has had slightly better production. Now, Keon Coleman, you really can't teach his physicality. You can't teach his size. You know, he had double digit touchdowns. But I would take Brian Thomas slightly. I think Brian Thomas is going to run a slightly better 40. I think the catch radius is about the same. And Brian Thomas, unlike Keon, he actually has had 1,000-yard season, right? So, and I've already seen Brian Thomas as a number 2 because he was the number 2 to Malik Neighbors. If he was to come to Dallas, he would be CeeDee Lamb's number 2. So I already seen him in that role, excel in that role, and take advantage of those one-on-ones, you know, against the second tier corners. Hey, my brother, 55 SA Richburg, salute to you. Thank you for tapping in and showing love to the liquor store, man. Thank you for rocking with your boy, man. Salute to you. Make sure y'all hit that like and share button on the way in, man. We're in the liquor store cooking. We just going through. I'm just trying to make the case for why it is important to get a wide receiver in this year's draft. Right? I'm showing y'all the top prospects. I showed y'all. Matter of fact, I showed y'all the top 10 prospects in 2025 who they're projecting to be the top 10, and I'm just showing y'all who my top 10 are this draft. So far, I want to show a show of hands. Does the 2024 top 10 look better than the 2025 top 10? I just want to know. Does the 2024 top 10 look better than the 2025 top 10? And I would say hell yes. Hell yes. Because there are guys in the top of the 2025 top 10 that wouldn't even be in first round picks. They wouldn't be second round picks. There are guys in next year's top 10 that would be third round picks, fourth round picks if they were drafted this year. This is not shade. These are just facts. So why would I wait? Willie T, what's up, man? They were tapping in and showing love. Shout out to Mark for another $5 super. He said, in a perfect world, I prefer O-line or D-line over wide receiver, which is very fair. I don't think we use Cooks and his speed. He was a 1,000-yard guy for years. Jalen's a bust, and it's all JJ hype. Hey, salute to you for the $5 super chat. And I'll say this. There are certain offensive linemen that I can live with taking in the first round. There are certain offensive linemen I can live with. And really, it's a very small list. There are people that projected Mims to the Dallas Cowboys, who was a tackle from Georgia. Now, Mims has red flags medically, and he's only played 8 games in his collegiate career. So he would be a project. Barden from Duke, he played a majority of his career. Right, he played a majority of his career at tackle, and they are talking about moving him to center. Now, he does have like 5 career games at center, but he's played a majority of his career as an outside, as a tackle. So he will be moving and playing at a position he does not have a lot of reps at. JPJ out of Oregon, I don't see him falling to the Dallas Cowboys. If he's there at 24, cool. But I don't see him falling. He said the 2025 class receivers could have a great year. And hey, that is the only thing that could propel them up, right? Because they still got time. They still have another year of production that they can add under their belt, right? They can add that under their belt, and I could have a completely different feeling about them. And they can also have bad years that can make me look at them even worse. So it's a double-edged sword. They have another year of eligibility, so they have another year to improve their stock or to worsen their stock. I'm just talking about as of right now, February the 29th, 2024. None of those guys in the 2025 draft have close to the resume of these guys. And if they were to come, and if they had came out this year, we would not be talking about them like they were top 10 prospects. Now, you can make that case for some of these guys too. Xavier Legette would not have been a top 10 prospect the prior year. Like he had pretty much did absolutely nothing up until this season. Then he exploded. He went crazy, right? So that's fair. That's what you said, my brother, was a very fair, objective way of looking at that, right? Because Xavier Legette, I love him. I would not have thought about drafting him prior to the 2023 season because he didn't budge. You know what I'm saying? Tez Walker, I probably would not have had him in the top 10 either because he really didn't play stiff competition at his prior location. So, hey, that's a very fair assessment, bro. That's a very fair assessment. I ain't got nothing bad to say about that. CD needs a Robin to his Batman, Alvin Harper for the playmaker vibes. Agreed. Those are my exact sentiments. So number 6, I got Troy Franklin. And I showed y'all some of those projected 40 times that they're expecting people to run. Troy Franklin, there's a possibility that Troy Franklin might have one of the fastest 40s in this year's draft. He might. I don't think they're really giving him credit. I could see Troy Franklin running a legit 4.3, like a 4.3, 4.35. I could see Troy Franklin hitting that. So I like Troy Franklin. I like his size. I do have some issues with his ability to catch with his hands. He lets the ball get into him sometimes. He said, but my boy Jay Bryan, what's up, HTM? Not disagreeing with you. My only pushback isn't that this year McCarthy and company need draft picks to make an impact. Can any of these receivers leap Jalen Tolbert and push Cooks? And I wholeheartedly agree that they can, and that's why I want them. You know what I'm saying, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, hey, shout out to my boy S.A. Richburg for the $5 Cash App, man. He just hit me with a $5 Cash App for the love, man. I appreciate you for supporting me the way you've been, brother. Hey, and y'all keep the lights on in the liquor store, man. Like, y'all definitely help me out with the things that I do. Y'all allowed me to get on here and say things that might get me canceled in any other space. But y'all allowed me to keep it real with y'all. Y'all are the ones that pay me. I don't get paid by no bit network, by no team or nothing like that. So y'all allowed me to come and give my actual opinion, and I appreciate y'all for that, man. So I salute everybody that donates, salute to everybody that supports the liquor store. And hey, I cannot do this without y'all. Like, real talk. So thank y'all for the love and support, man. Lamont said, I like Ricky Purcell. He knows how to make big catches. Let me see. Did I put Ricky on my honorable mentions or not? Let me see. Cause I got an honorable mentions watch list on here too. I don't remember if I put Ricky on here or not. But I do know who you're talking about out of Florida. It said, read what I said about my mom, Bruce. What happened to your moms? Hope everything okay. It says, see, I don't think you can say that below Rome or Dunze. Oh, I definitely can. I definitely can say that about Brian Thomas. I can say that about Keon Coleman. And I can say that about Troy Franklin. Now, Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Legette, and Tez Walker, I'm leaning towards them being friends first round, early second round players. So, if you were to say, hey, the top 6 are gone, right? I'll meet y'all halfway. If you were to say, hey, we're picking in the first round and Troy Franklin's gone. Everybody is gone. Troy Franklin on up. Like, I might hear you out on an offensive lineman. I might hear you out on a cornerback if a good one's there. I might hear you out on a pass rusher if one is there. Because I believe that I have an ability to get a Tez, the ability to get a Xavier Adonai. One of them might fall to me in the second round. So you want to have that conversation at that point, that's cool. But those top 6, and listen, I'm not even counting Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, or Rome, because I know for damn sure they're not going to allow them to fall. But if Brian Thomas falls to the Dallas Cowboys, that's a super win. If Keon Coleman falls to the Dallas Cowboys, that is a super win. If Troy Franklin is there, that is a super win. Now, I will accept pushback on Adonai. I will accept some pushback on Xavier. I will accept some pushback on the guys in the bottom 10. 7 to 10, I will accept pushback on. Right? Because it's sort of fringe at that point. But those top 6 guys, yes, they definitely should be picked in the first round, and they will help the Dallas Cowboys. Shout out to my boy, man. Hold on, my boy just came through with another $5 super chat. Let me get to you, bro. Let me get to you. Let me get you pulled up on here so I can read your super, man. Hold on. Shout out to my guy, Mark, for the $5 super. He said, our number 1 and 2 picks can't be projects. Too many busts in top 3 rounds. Mozzie, Luke, Sam, Tolbert, Holston, Wright, Gallimore, Hill, McGovern. No one likes to admit this, which is very true, man. There are a lot of second-round picks that the Dallas Cowboys have taken that have not panned out so far. First and foremost, I never wanted Luke Schoonmaker. Just throw that out there. Like, I was at the draft. Like, I have physically drove hours from Texas to go to Kansas City to see them draft a damn blocking tight end in the second round. Now, I was hopeful for Mozzie Smith, and I still have some hope that Mozzie Smith can develop because it takes a little bit of time for defensive tackles. But yeah, there's been a lot of guys that we were super high on that have not panned out. McGovern, he was decent, and he's no longer on the team. Tristan Hill was really never panned out. Nahshon Wright was a reach. That man had a 5th round grade on him. Tolbert has not lived up to the hype so far, and I like the kid. We had him on the show. Salute to Jalen Tolbert, friend of the show. But he hasn't really panned out yet, right? So, and my boy says, Keon said, I'm not as big of a fan of Keon Coleman as some people are. Some people have Keon Coleman ahead of Brian Thomas. I did not. I like Brian Thomas over Keon Coleman. And listen, I like Keon physically. I like his physical attributes. If you wanted to argue, he never had 1,000 yards in college. Most of what he does is simply like the big body catch stuff, which we have lacked. I see it. He said, I still don't think we have to go receiver in first round. Well, I tell you what, it will depend on who's there. And I'll say it like this. I'll make it easier. The top 10 players right here, the Dallas Cowboys need to get drafted in either round 1 or 2. Like Xavier Legette, I don't have a first round grade on him. Adonai Mitchell, like I say, he's fringe. He like a fringe first round, early second round. If you wanted to take him, I can understand that. Same for Xavier Worthy, and I definitely got a second round grade on Tez Walker. But I will say this: if the best player there at 24 is one of these guys, you should take them, because I believe that odds are, once you get down to number 24, there's more questions at some of the other positions than there is at the receiver position. I know people are saying get Barden. Like I said, Barden has not played prolonged snaps at the center position. They're projecting him to be a center at the NFL level, and he played mostly left tackle in college, right? When you talk about Mims, he's a project player. You talk about some of these other guys, they haven't. I wouldn't pick them ahead of these wide receivers. I think they're better. Right? The center from West Virginia, I think that all these wide receivers are better than him. Right? So when you get down to 24, odds, like real talk, odds are going to say one of these receivers will be a better option than some of the other guys that are there. Especially if Troy Franklin's there, especially if Brian Thomas is there, especially if Keon Coleman is there. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying like, I'm not saying wide receiver first round or bust, because I will live with Xavier Legette in the second. I will live with Adonai Mitchell in the second. I will live with Xavier Worthy in the second, if they make it that far to us at pick number 56 or 58, whatever it may be. But odds are, if you want bang for your buck, you should take a wide receiver. And listen, we're not even just talking about, we're not just even talking about how good this wide receiver draft class is, right? What is one of the roster moves? Hey, Lamont, you might be on something, because outside of Trayvon Diggs, who are these other second round picks that have panned out so far? It's been a while since a second round pick has panned out for us outside of Trey. And remember, Trey had a first round grade, so it was obvious to draft Trayvon Diggs in the second. He made it to you. So remember, they had us taking Trayvon Diggs at number 17. They had us taking Trayvon Diggs at number 17 in some mock drafts going to the 2020 draft. So Trayvon making it to us in the second round, that was fucking beautiful. That was beautiful. So that made the most sense. A lot of these other second round picks have not made any sense at all. But you're reaching there. Because Devondre Sweat, while he's a great interior player, does not have a first round grade. Right? I would have to go and draft somebody that got a mid second round grade at pick number 24 to get Devondre. The better solution would be, if you want Devondre, if that's your guy, then trade out the first round completely. Trade out the first round completely if that's the route you're gonna go to. See who's willing to come up for 24, get that person's second round pick and their third round pick and a couple future picks, and then just draft Devondre, and then just draft Sweat with your earliest second round pick, draft a wide receiver with your late second round pick, and then you can build linebacker and everything else with the depth pieces that you acquired. But I would not draft Sweat at number 24. It's a reach. I would, like, if that's the goal, then trade back. If they love Sweat like that, trade back and get more bang for your buck, because he'll be there. He'll be there in the early second round. Right, just like the people that love Edgarian Cooper. I don't see the point in drafting Cooper in the first round when he has a mid-second round grade. Trade out the first round, then get the extra compensation, and then just draft your guy. If your favorite guy in this draft has a second round grade, then trade out the first round. Don't overpay them. Don't overreach. Get the assets and just go from there. But my mindset is, there's actually first round talent still at number 24 in this draft. Right? There are draft years where there's not 32 people with a first round grade. There's 32 picks, but there's not 32 guys with a first round grade, right? There's not people with a first round grade. He said Keon Coleman has a second top 10 round grade. To them, I'm talking about me. I didn't grade him out as such. I got a late first on Keon Coleman. Remember, that's why I said HTM Sports top wide receiver of 2024. So yeah, there are some people that have different grades than other folks. And this is, I should tell y'all my cutoff. Like, Troy Franklin is the last person that I have a for sure first round grade on. So Xavier Worthy is fringe, Adonai, all these guys, they're probably closer to second round picks, 7 to 10. So 1 through 6, definitely first round grades on my end. So more than likely he will be there at 24. Yes, I agree, he'll be there at 24. But I got a much higher grade on Keon Coleman than some other people do. I have him as a late first round pick. Just like I have a lower grade on Edgarian Cooper than a lot of people. I've seen people mocking Edgarian Cooper at pick 20. I seen him go as high as pick 20, and I got him as like player number 41. I think Edgarian Cooper is the 41st best player in this year's draft. Said 2023 killed us on teams running the ball on us, bro. Hey, that's true. That's why you need to actually get players in free agency to stop the run. Because if your goal is to fix your team ability to stop the run in the draft, you already failed. You need grown ass veterans. You need grown ass veterans in the middle of your defense to stop the run. There's not no rookie middle linebacker that's gonna come in here and stop the damn run. Roquan Smith didn't even do that as a rookie. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's no Roquan Smith in this draft. There's not a single linebacker in this year's draft that has a first round grade on them. There's not a single one. Not a singular one. You can take linebacker in round 2 or 3 because that's where the hell they're going to go. You can take defensive tackle in round 2 or 3 because that's where the hell they're supposed to go this year. Like, I'm not using pick number 24 on a position that I don't think has a first round pick in them. Right? I don't see that. You know what I mean? If there was a first round pick middle linebacker out here, I would talk about him. If there was a first round for sure defensive tackle, I would talk about him. Man, I am not taking them niggas. Excuse my French. I'm not taking them at 24. Like I said, if y'all like Sweat, who got an early early second round grade, then trade back. Trade back. If you like Cooper, who got a middle second round grade, trade back. But I'm not using pick number 24 for them. My boy said I would like to trade back in the first to 27 to 32 and get some extra picks. I mean, that's not a bad idea, especially depending on what folks want to come into, and that might be even more conducive to the Dallas Cowboys. So, hey, if you get to swap first round picks and gain somebody's second round pick, I think that's a win. Definitely think that's a win. Hey, Israel said our draft is our free agency. LOL. Cowboys be like that. My opinion. They do, and they shouldn't though. They shouldn't, because teams that try to fix their team in the draft don't win championships. Teams that fix their problems with proven commodities, they're contenders. They're contenders. When the 49ers felt like they needed better pass rushers, more rotational pass rushers, they went and got Chase Young. They went and got Randy Gregory. You know, when they felt they needed more interior players, they went and got Hargrave, who was just with the Eagles and had 11 sacks. Like, they didn't go to the draft and say I needed to fix this and fix that. They already built their core in the draft. They got lucky. They know that you can't keep getting lucky. So they went and fixed their problems with free agents. They needed another corner. They didn't go out and draft a guy. They went and got Charvarius Ward, who was already one of the best man-to-man cover corners in the National Football League. So yeah, like, teams that compete, they fix their problems in free agency, or they trade for players. They don't just go into the draft and hoping they hit on 4 rookies. You know how hard that shit is? Jay Bryan said you got to have a partner to trade back, which is true. Which is also true. You didn't tell a lie. You would hope that somebody will be willing to trade up. So let's see. Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Legette, Tez Walker. Them boys round out my top 10. Now I'm finna go pull up my honorable mentions. Now, these guys definitely are not first round talent, but these are also very good wide receivers that you can get in the second or the third round. Right? Second or third round, you should be able to get one of these players. Javon Baker for UCF. Brandon Rice, son of Jerry Rice, USC. Jalen Polk, who had 1,100 yards this season, opposite of Roma Dunze for Washington. And Malik Washington from Virginia. Now, there are also some other names like Malachi Corley He's a very good wide receiver. The boy from Florida, he's a very good wide receiver. Right, those are some of my other guys that you can look out for. I don't think they're as good as the other top guys, but I also think that they're worth being drafted in the late second or the third round. Hell no. Israel Madrid, I went last year, stood in the rain and watched them boys draft a tight end. Lamont, quit playing, man. You know good well Arkansas ain't got no wide receivers, man. That's why that's why, you know, that's why we don't ever have nice things in Arkansas. We don't have good wide receivers no more, man. You know, Traylon Burks was an anomaly. We don't usually have good wide receivers. Now, hopefully, you know, that changes. But yeah, there's no Arkansas wide receivers I would draft right now. There's not a single one. But nah, I drove hours to stand in the rain and watch them draft a blocking tight end with a second round pick. So nah, I'm not going this year. I'm gonna have a draft watch party right here where it's dry and I ain't gotta hop on no plane to go to Detroit. So nah, I'm not going to this year's draft. He said, I asked because Brock Bowers has some of the best tape in this draft. If he's at 24, do you take him? That's a tough one, bro. It's a tough one. Because the Dallas Cowboys got a lot of capital invested in tight end already. You're finna have to pay Jake Ferguson soon, who just had a Pro Bowl season. Yeah, like he just had a Pro Bowl season. You just invested a second round pick in Schoonmaker. Then you got the boy John Stevens Jr. is coming back from ACL injury, who, from what I heard, was going to beat out Peyton Hendershot for his job. So I don't think that you can invest a first round pick in a tight end. Now, matter of fact, if Brock Bowers is somehow there at 24, there will be people calling about trading up to get him. So find your trade back partner if Brock Bowers is there. If Brock Bowers is the best player left, if he's the best player left, then you need to trade back because you got entirely too much capital at the tight end position. Somebody will give you what you want to move up to get Brock Bowers. So if he happens to fall to 24, somebody will want Brock Bowers. Yeah, Rocket Sanders abandoned us. Oh, Brock, listen, don't get it twisted. Brock Bowers is a stud. I know landlord loves him, but at 24, man, I'm trading back. Like if the Chiefs might want Brock Bowers to be the heir apparent. They might, the Chiefs might want him to be the heir apparent to him. To Travis Kelce. So, and they could play them together in 12 personnel. So what if the Chiefs are at 32? You could trade back with the Chiefs, get their first round pick, get a couple extra picks. Yeah. Or you could trade back with maybe Buffalo might want them. You never really know. Nah, hell no. Buffalo already got two tight ends. But you get my drift though. Said my 24 pick. Y'all know I'm leaning towards wide receiver. I'm still leaning towards wide receiver because I feel like a wide receiver will be the best option available at that point. I could be wrong, right? Something else could be there that we really, really need. But, you know, if JPJ's not there, Kool-Aid McKinsey's not there, or the cornerback from Toledo's not there, then odds are your best bang for your buck will be the wide receiver. My boy 6'4" Chevy said, I'm running to the podium. Get Bowers a game changer. Hey, I like Brock Bowers, man. I just don't know how much I can keep investing to the tight end room. You already got Jake, who you're gonna have to give a contract to eventually, right? I mean, matter of fact, Jake Ferguson will be eligible for a contract after this season, right? So I know I know folks are gonna want to keep Jake. You just invested a second round pick because Johnny Wilson is. I don't like Johnny Wilson. Like, if I could listen, I don't want to just get a body. You know what I'm saying, Willie T? I don't want to just get a body. Like Johnny Wilson, I don't want no Johnny Wilson. Like y'all said, Johnny Wilson like he's a good wide receiver. There's a reason I don't have Johnny Wilson on this list. I don't even have the man in my honorable mentions. That man like a 4th or 5th round pick. I'm not trying to just get a average ass wide receiver in a loaded wide receiver draft class. Right? Getting Johnny Wilson is the equivalent to the Dallas Cowboys getting Deuce Vaughn in last year's running back class that had all those good ass running backs. And we left that draft class with Deuce Vaughn, man. One of the best running back classes in years, and we got Deuce Vaughn. Man, nothing is comparable between this man. That man is stiff. Outside of being 6'7", what is Johnny Wilson good at? The man had 2 touchdowns this year. Johnny Wilson literally had 2 touchdowns as a 6'7" wide receiver this year. Yeah, like nah, I'm good. I'm good on him. This man is a 6'7" wide receiver that does not even have 10 career touchdowns. It sort of defeats the purpose of being a big body wide receiver if you're not a big red zone threat. So yeah, and I'm good. I'm good on Johnny. I'm good on Johnny. So I wanted Dalton Kincaid last year, playmaking tight end as a quarterback best security blanket and a defense's nightmare. Hey, I will say this: Dalton Kincaid would have panned out better than Schoonmaker, and he would have gave you more production than Monty Smith has so far. Said Henny, who would you want number 2 quarterback to be? Whoever earns the job. Whoever earns the job. If Cooper Rush looks like he's the best quarterback in preseason, let him keep his job. If Trey Lance looks like he's the best quarterback in preseason, then let him get the job. I am open to a fair, open, non-political quarterback competition for quarterback number 2. He said the drop off to JPJ and Graham Barton to other centers is big. Screw a reach. You say screw a reach, and then we end up with somebody that don't produce for us. Like, you're arguing more for trading up. Now, we can have a conversation about trading up for a guy, but I am not just going to draft a project player. Like, people love Graham Barton for some reason, and they feel like he can play the center position at the NFL level without actually seeing it, because he barely played center in college. So what the hell am I supposed to do with that? It might work out, right? It worked out for Tyler Smith, going from tackle to guard. But I'm not. I don't like drafting people and then turning them to something else. I really don't like that. Shout out to Mark for the $2 super. Said, what's worse is Schoon over Osiris? That's a joke. Hey, I had a very, very high draft grade on Osiris Torrance. Other content creators did not, but he played damn good for the Buffalo Bills. Made the all-rookie team. Was a dominant force in their run game, moving grown ass man from the point of attack. But you know, folks said I was crazy for liking Osiris Torrance the way that I did. I had him as my number 1 guard. Said Henny, if they took the offensive line last year in round 2, round 1, where Tyler had been kicked out to left tackle again. Politics probably would have said yes. Politics probably would have said yes. Because, hey, you don't draft a guard in the first round and he doesn't play in Dallas. Like, first round picks play. first round picks play. So whether they had earned it or not, they probably would have kicked them, or they would have probably went ahead and drafted somebody. They would have probably drafted a tackle maybe. But see, I don't see that still, because they love getting that dirt cheap labor from Tyron Smith. So I really don't know what would have happened, man. It's politics both ways. He said Javon Baker is a dog too, maybe third. I got a third round grade on Javon Baker, and I like him. He said, look at his technique. He sits down and hold his ground. Barden shows the same technique at guard, center, or tackle. He stops the rusher. Yes, I know he stops the rusher at Duke. I just want to know, is his ass going to stop Aaron Donald? Is his ass going to stop Javon Hargrave? Is his ass going to stop the people that we play to try and win championships? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's a good player. I just don't want to get a project player. I don't want to get a guy that has limited on the job training. It's the same reason I don't want to get Mills, who only has 8 games under his belt ever. I don't want to get a guy who only has 5 career games at center. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying he's bad. Like, if you look at the tape and you look at his technique, like you said, you can see it. You can see why people project him to be good at that job. But I also don't look at the tape and see a lot of him actually doing it, because he didn't really do it that much. So I don't know. I try and stay away from people like that. That's just me. I try to stay the hell away from people that we got to project them at a different position. Man, I want Jameis Williams from Miami. Yeah, I like him. Now, I also don't believe that they'll invest in the safety position. I don't believe that they will. They've had a hard time doing it in the past. But he is a good safety. So I watched Stephen Jones' interview about our culture. D's culture now is soft compared to the 90s and before. And I think that's the disconnect. Because when you say culture, I think they be thinking about all the teams that came before us. This is an entirely different team. They don't have the same culture that they had in the 90s or the 70s, for that matter. Like, this is not a winning culture. This is a culture of 8-8. This is a culture of 6-10. This is a culture of first round exits. This is a culture of four playoff wins in almost 30 years. That's the current culture of the Dallas Cowboys. Since Stephen Jones has been involved in the franchise, they don't really compete. They don't really win playoff games. Hell, we just got to the point where we consistently have winning seasons. So like this ain't no winning culture. They don't win. They just now started winning recently. How's that a winning culture? My boy said, F stopping a Commanders fan. Let's focus on slapping Stephen Jones till he feels the culture issues we feel. Man, hey, you got a damn good point. So, hey, we might have to start every show now with let's slap the shit out of Stephen Jones. Because we got to slap some sense to kinfolk, man. He tripping. Talking about we ain't got no culture issues. Man, that man about as high. But yeah. But we also got to remember when we talk about getting wide receiver early. So let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all believe Michael Gallup will be here? So our 2020 draft class was all special teams. I know. And that's why I won't bang for my buck in this year's draft, bro. I don't want to reach and get a tight end that doesn't have a second round grade on him. I don't want to get a defensive tackle that has a friend second round grade on him. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I don't expect Michael Gallup to be here. I expect him to cut Michael Gallup. Brandon Cooks only has a singular year left on his contract. Right? He said, I'd take a chance over Barden. I'm not trying to get no rookie center. Like, my plan is to fix that shit in free agency. Now, if they don't get a free agent center, then like hell, fuck it. We'll have to figure that out in the draft. Like, they're gonna force our hands. But I am not trying to draft a rookie center and compete for a championship this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to do that. The same reason I'm not trying to draft a middle linebacker. One, there's not one. And two, I don't think a middle linebacker that's not a veteran is going to help this team. So there's a lot of things that y'all are talking about that I want them to fix in free agency. That's why I'm not looking at that in the draft. Now, listen, if free agency rolls around, we don't get a veteran center, we don't get linebackers, we don't fix the defensive tackle position, then we're effed any damn way. We're effed anyway. We're going to have a bad draft any goddamn way. Then y'all can pick whatever the hell y'all want at that point. But there's a lot of things that y'all are talking about in this rookie draft class that I want them to fix in free agency. Willie T, if not wide receiver, what are you trying to draft in the first round? If not wide receiver, what are you trying to draft in the first round? Let's like free. I'm like there's a straight open question. What position would y'all draft in the first round other than wide receiver? They got second round grades, bro. I'm not drafting that at 24. So pick again. Pick a position that has a first round grade that you want at pick 24. Center, I can live with center. If one of the centers fall to us that's worthy of a first round pick, F it. Edge, I can live with edge. If lot 2 is there, something, I can live with edge. I can live with cornerback. I can live with center. I can live with edge. I can live with cornerback. It's not in this year's draft, Willie T. It's not. There's like 40 dudes I can name that deserve a first round grade. So I'm not jumping over those 40 people to draft somebody that does not have a first round grade. I got 40 guys that would be first round picks. There's only 32 draft picks. Now remember, there's only 15, 17, 18, 20 guys that are real first round picks. There's like 40 this year. So why would I hop over all 40 of them to go and get somebody that has a second round grade? That's all I'm asking you. That is all I'm asking you. There will be somebody at 24 that has a first round grade. So why would I then jump over them and the other guys? No, I said there are years. There are guys that don't have first round grades. I said there are about 40 this year. You just got to rewind the tape. There's about 40. He said, what about safety? I don't even look at safety because they're going to disappoint us. They're going to disappoint us. Flip said there's no way there's 40 players. I'm gonna have to show y'all my list. Cause y'all forget there's quarterbacks and shit like that they're gonna get drafted that's not coming to Dallas. There's quarterbacks with first round grades. There's some edge rushers with first round grades. There's some offensive linemen with first round grades. There's a shit ton of wide receivers that are close. Said, okay, so what are you really saying is that after the top 10, most of the players are the same until pick 40. So as long as it's not a top 40 player on your list, it's not a loss. Yeah, I can live. Yeah, listen, I can live with getting a top 40 player, but I don't have any linebackers in the top 40. I don't have any. Well, I'll be making a lie. I have Sweat as like prospect number 35. I have Sweat with like prospect number 35. Like he's good as fuck. I have him as like being the 35th best player in this draft. So T'Vondre Sweat, I just don't see them doing back-to-back first-round pick at defensive tackle though. Nigga hard though, dog. Like if they hadn't got Monty Smith last year in the first round, like I might be more open to getting T'Vondre Sweat. Like I might be more open to getting T'Vondre Sweat. See, with our luck, the Cowboys ain't getting no players. So my question to y'all, do you believe the Dallas Cowboys front office would admit that they were wrong and draft back-to-back defensive tackles in the first round at pick number 24? That would be my second question. My second question, do you believe the Dallas Cowboys would admit in their own shortcomings and draft another defensive tackle at pick 24 the year afterwards? My boy said nope. 6'4" Chevy, nope. Preach HTM. Now CJ Bryant, you see how we met with some common ground? When you say some stuff that makes sense, then like, yeah, I can dig that. I say, listen, there's still hope for Monty Smith. But I also don't think the Dallas Cowboys would pick that position back-to-back at the same spot after back-to-back years. It's the optics of it. But yo, my lunch hours is now up. I appreciate y'all for showing love in the liquor store, rocking out with me as long as y'all did. Salute to all y'all good people. I will be back sometime. Maybe I'll be back later, but 9 times out of 10, I will be back in tomorrow. Hey, Dunny Holmes, what's up with you, man? Oh, I know you do, Jay Bryan. I'm gonna talk about this particular one. But yeah, I'll probably be back sometime tomorrow. If anything crazy happens, I'll spin the block on y'all. But as of now, we'll open the liquor store around the same time tomorrow on a Friday, so y'all know it's time for a liquor store run. So on the way out, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that share button. Make sure y'all continue to slap the shit. Matter of fact, slap the shit out of Stephen Jones, man. Slap the shit out of Stephen Jones and get his mind right, man. He tweaking about this culture stuff. So yeah, man. So do that. Hit the like button on the way out. Hit the Cash App on the way out. Hit the Super Chat on the way out. And I will holler at y'all later, man. Peace, God bless, and I'm out. And hey, Israel, thank you. My wife is doing good. She's great. Everything is under control, and thank y'all for asking, man. So, again, thank y'all for the support and